song for a movie podcast. Some are pretty good, but we'll just suck ass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Watch with us, we're Cinema Buns. Let's go!
Hello and welcome to Cinema Buns. I'm Ritter.
I'm Mike.
Huh? Oh.
It is
That's in the script now.
the great. What was Andrew Garfield's character name? Jonathan
Laster?
Fucking goddamn! What are we doing today, guys?
Oh,
we're gonna rate TikTok.
I hate you. Jonathan Larson. Today we're talking about Tick Tock Boom, the Andrew Garfield movie.
Wait, isn't it Tick Tick Boom?
Tick Tick Boom.
I got him!
Fuck you!
Yes!
Tick Tick Boom, released on Netflix, starring Andrew Garfield, and it follows the. It's based on the autobiographical play written by Jonathan Larson, who, as those who might not know and a bunch of theater kids who do know, he's the one that wrote Rent. And this is about his life writing his first play and the troubles with that and going on from there. So, initial thoughts.
This is it's a pretty unique narrative device because the movie is Andrew Garfield recounting his life in a possibly not real performance.
No, it's a real performance. It's based on the actual play. I mean, so like the parts where he's telling his story of his life, that's where the movie is taking place, and they get actors and stuff to do it.
Yeah.
But
it's played in kind of like the entire movie is a flashback, and the flashback is interspersed with the present day where he's actually just performing, and describing things in his life. But it's kind of played as like some sort of dream, heavenly, like musical performance, because like you don't see the audience. It's just like kind of him, and some of the artists that's around him, playing the music and singing the songs.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I mean, you hear the audience reaction of like laughter and like cheers and whatever because some of the jokes are funny, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was an autobiography until like near the end of the movie. I honestly thought it was
This is all expansive world building.
Yeah.
First of all, they created a fictional character named Andrew Garfield. They invented a character named Jonathan Larson, and invented
Stephen Sondheim,
a fantasy genre called musicals.
So to be fair,
it's all fake.
To be fair, I was asleep for the beginning like 10 minutes of this movie.
You were only asleep for like the first 30 seconds.
Oh, I was asleep for the first 30 seconds. The thing is,
you don't know if he's like conscious for it though.
The thing, I woke up to the first musical number,
which was the very beginning,
which is akin to a sleeping dog and you putting bacon in front of your nose. Because Mike, if you guys, I don't know if you guys know if we've explained this before, Mike fucking loves his musicals.
I love musicals, and the thing is, I knew nothing about this movie going in because I was asleep while they were discussing what to watch next. So I wake up to this movie thinking it's just a musical. Like, I didn't know it was an autobiography. I thought it was all made up characters about a dude just doing a,
his own thing.
A fictional autobiography. I didn't realize.
He thought it was like 6 layers deep when it was only like 1.5.
I literally just read an article. Well, actually, just the headline. I don't read articles. On IMDb, where it's like, is Tick Tick Boom the inception of musicals?
Oh my god!
Because I didn't realize it until the very end when they started. I don't know. I guess we can explain. It talks about the actual person and like what he did, basically. And I was like, oh, this is actually an autobiography. And then Ritter's over there looking at me like, yes, I told you at the very beginning. I was like, yeah, but I thought it was a fictional autobiography. Like, it was a dude. I thought it was a dude.
He's a dude playing another dude.
Now, one thing to note though is that if you go into this movie not aware of that this is supposed to be an autobiography, certain scenes in the movie are gonna feel different and feel a little cheesy.
Oh, you know it.
Because
there's a certain sense of suspension of disbelief whenever you walk into a musical, because no one just kind of breaks out in song, and no one ever like just kind of sings their problems away. So yeah, I mean, like, you go into it expecting like not to be just like completely grounded and everything.
yeah.
But I would kind of like disagree. I don't think it definitely helps to know about like the backstory about the real person. You do not need to know anything about Rent. Rent is an afterthought. It's like
it's mentioned once at the end of the movie.
it's like Ip Man. The Ip Man movies. They're like, hey, you guys know Bruce Lee? This is the guy that taught Bruce Lee.
This is why he became super famous, but we're not talking about that.
Yeah. And it's like, no, it's about Ip Man and the Grandmaster and how he saved China or something. And this is about the person, John Lauderdale,
Jonathan Larson.
Law and Order.
Yeah.
Why am I having so much trouble remembering his name?
Larson. Jonathan
Andrew
Larson.
Garfield.
Andrew Larson.
Number 15.
Burger King foot lettuce.
Burger King musical.
No, I thought the movie was good. I mean, so the way the movie came off is that, like, Jonathan Larson was just a super passionate playwright who was embroiled in his craft, and he was all about the fantasy of life, the fantasy of like the stage and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think Andrew Garfield did a good job playing him, because he played a
very talented human being
and flawed person.
Yeah.
He was someone that was so passionate, but he felt I think he felt trapped by the like responsibilities of life and society, and how like his dream world is that like he can do whatever he wants, but he's but he feels trapped by his own fear and society's like expectations, that he's just like, I want to do it, but I don't know. I do, but what if it doesn't work?
It's it's
and he's such a big perfectionist, so he doesn't want to do anything
half-assed.
He does. He's like, this will be perfect no matter what. I want to be 100% happy with this before I let it out, and I will push the line.
Mm-hmm. He falls into like that creative's trap in that they dedicate what seems to be their entire life on this one product, their first movie, their first play, their first song, and like in the movie he spends like 5 years after college just working on his what he thought to be his like magnum opus,
like writing,
Superbia.
rewriting,
And like it's like writing all these songs, and the ideas are crazy, and he always has to explain what's going on, and no one gets him except for like Stephen Sondheim. And it's the same thing for a lot of artists and creatives. They have that kind of like naivete that they are going to work forever on this one project, and that project is going to define
who they are
and like the rest of their career, and they don't have it to do anything else. And the character is faced with like the reality. I mean, like, spoilers, Superbia is like critically acclaimed, probably
but never
due
made.
to the giant cock of Stephen Sondheim. And like his agent tells him like, all right, we're all looking forward to your next one.
And he's like, what do you mean? We're not going to be able to make this a play. Because in reality, the first Superbia is based on Jason Orwell's 1984, or 1989?
84.
84. and like they did not get permission
Wake
from
up, sheeple.
they didn't get permission from the estate to like make it. So yeah, the
What are you
agent,
talking about? It's an original product, original idea.
yeah,
It has aliens and takes place in the
robots,
future.
yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So, I always like tell people, although I don't actually interact with a lot of like directors and artists, but like I'm of the belief, and I hear it a lot actually, that like just make your first thing, make your first short film, make your first feature movie, expecting that it's gonna suck.
yeah,
Just get it out there, get it out so that you can get the process learned, you know how to do everything correctly. And like this is true for like me. Whenever I like do any like medium of art, whether that be like crafting or like sculpting, painting, building something,
deck building.
yeah, the first time is like usually like not the best. There are like mistakes, and then the second one I'm actually happy with, and I'm like, fuck, I wish I did this to the first one. Like specifically, I remember when I was like in high school, I was me and my friend were building like dead mouse helmets.
Rad.
Yeah,
That's
very
legit.
rad. We finished his first, and then like my brain computized all the mistakes, and mine turned out perfect. It's so unfair. Like I was smart. I was like more careful with, because it's like it was like paper mache. Like the idea was that you
I
take.
see. He didn't need to be careful with his friends. So he's like, no,
Yeah,
the
no,
real,
I
the
fucked him
real.
over. Yeah. So it's like so you take like a beach ball, and then you paper mache, like get wet glue and paper, and stack them all
Just to
together.
build the
So
shell.
you build a shell around the beach ball, and then you deflate the beach ball, and then now you have like a hollow paper ball that you could carve whatever you want into it. The first one we made, there was like no structural integrity. The material we used on the outside, because we wanted him to be classic red, dead
Yeah.
mouse, and so for that we used like a red shirt, like, and just cut it into pieces because we just needed the fabric.
Yeah.
And also I think we also like diluted the glue too much, diluted the paste too much, so that there wasn't like much strength in the paper itself. And I mean we loved it, and he loved it, but eventually like showed his age, and it would just like sag, and it's just like a squished ball. Meanwhile, I paid attention, and like since it's now the second draft and it's working on mine,
It's working on my nose.
and I'm working on mine now. I like tightened up the recipe for the paste. Like I did more layers of paper, and it got like and had like gold foil, because I did a gold dead mouse helmet.
shit.
It fucking looked baller. It's the shirt is heavier than the gold foil that I used, and so it kept its shape, and like it stayed round for like forever. I think we were like dead mouse for 2 years in a row. But yeah, no, I kept that thing in my closet forever.
I was about to say Kevin wore that every day to school for the next 4 years.
And I don't remember if we used the same like materials for the eyes, but like I think this might have been wrong, but like I think we used something for the eyes on his helmet, and then for mine I was like, I found a styrofoam ball that you just cut in half, and then it just works perfectly. It looks fantastic. Like you just get like, you just learn from your mistakes, and also there's more time for you to find
And
new
use your friends
inspiration.
as guinea pigs.
Yeah, exactly.
And fine tune those that inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, let's dive into the movie a little bit more, and like let's start with gripes. Like what were some downsides or negatives you guys had out of the movie?
Well, I don't know if I can say I have downsides, because I just gonna just tell everyone now. I guess I have a huge bias towards musicals. Okay, like
Motherfucker loves cats.
yeah, I enjoyed Cats.
You
if
saw
that,
the
Unironically
you saw
liked
Cats
yeah, I
1.0.
unironically liked Cats.
You saw Cats
I know it was a
1.0
dumpster fire.
before the patch,
Yeah, I watched it before the patch and still enjoyed it.
and where if you guys didn't know, like they patched Cats to have better visual graphics.
Yeah, I
Because
saw
you
it
could
before
see
that.
wedding
Visual
rings and
effects and all.
stuff.
Yeah, and I still enjoyed it, and I was. And the thing is, I know it was hot garbage, but we're not talking about that. I just enjoyed it. So, like, for me, musicals, I'm pretty biased towards them, so I will enjoy the heck out of them. And my critical baby brain, because I'm just barely good understanding how to criticize movies. Finally, I'm starting to see enough to where I'm finally building that.
He's building the foundation.
I'm building a foundation finally. It used to be movie good, and then I moved on.
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to actually see consistencies with issues, and now that we're finally learning about more detail, I'm finally learning about more detailed little things
Yeah,
for
stop
like
looking at me.
the background of, like, you know, how things are put together and all that. But even still, it's like I'm blind when it comes to like musicals, and that's only because I'm really listening to those musical numbers, and I'm like, yeah.
So you really don't have anything that you could say might have been better,
The thing,
or
the thing is, though, Mike, you don't need to know the directors and the actors and how the film
Yeah.
is made and the history about it. You listen to your heart.
And that's the thing, my heart is singing out like a mad lad, and it's like I don't have any gripes, but it's mostly because I was blinded with the musicals and I was jamming out.
all right, fine.
So like,
I'll-
I don't really have anything because I didn't really notice it too much. I guess there
You're
might be
willing to
one thing.
excuse a bunch of things. I
I'm
guess?
willing to excuse a bunch of things because it also didn't help that I was going in watching what I thought was a fictional musical within a musical, so that probably didn't help.
It is a musical in a musical.
But I guess the only thing would be I wasn't much of a fan of the cafe or the diner scenes, really.
really,
Like it just that one was probably
because one of the diner scenes, I swear, had like the biggest production budget for like a split second.
Yeah.
yeah.
until it-
I mean, yeah,
until it
when
didn't.
yeah, until it didn't, and I think that was probably was like, all right, but like other than that, like acting, I thought was fine. The musical numbers were obviously amazing. I enjoyed them. Yeah, like I'm just blinded to the music, man.
Fine, Mike. Fine. Just say it. I'll bring the mood down. Let's
Okay,
go.
he's going in.
So, one thing that did bug me throughout the movie was they do it well. So they filmed it in a way to consistently give it a 90s film aesthetic and feel to it. So certain colors were oversaturated, some gamma exposure levels were exaggerated or toned down a little bit to kind of match that feel, and lens flares and shit. But a problem I had is because they were doing that, I swear to God, I felt like something was wrong with my vision at one point. Like, I was rubbing my eyes like, God, am I that tired? Am I going blind? Do I need to see an optometrist
My
soon?
point exactly. I was blind to the music,
Yeah.
man. I was blind. I
So-
didn't notice.
That's one thing that bugged me a little bit. I mean, I did get past it eventually. That's not a consistent issue throughout the entire movie, but there are certain scenes in particular, like when he was doing the workshop, whenever they were in that room working on it, or when he was at his friend's apartment it was specifically during daytime that I noticed it was like...
to be fair, I'm also colorblind, so I probably really didn't notice it.
Another thing that bugged me a little bit was that so we talked about how the musical is told as if it's just a stage play musical, which is what it's based on. However, although this is a very interesting way to convey a story and was a good framing device for a musical to kind of explain why there are musical numbers instead of just people randomly singing, I felt like in some scenes the musical numbers actually kind of undercut the emotional the emotions of the scene. Like, there's one scene in particular between his girlfriend Susan and him in his apartment where it's a very emotional scene and they're going through very real emotions, but it's undercut by this like comedic song
about the modern the modern relationship.
Yeah, about the modern relationship. So it's like, okay, this is a really good scene being acted pretty well by Andrew Garfield, and I thought the girl was okay.
I thought Vanessa Hudgens was really good.
Vanessa Hudgens was good. I'm talking about Susan though.
Yeah, I know.
But
no, but like in that scene because she's singing.
Yes, but I mean the like comedic happy-esque song just undercut that whole scene's emotional like pull. So I felt like they weren't taking it as seriously as it should have been. But later on, there is a more emotional, self-reflective bit where they do allow the song to actually add to the emotion, which works.
Generally in musicals, you give a song to scenes where something is like there's an emotion that needs to be portrayed, or if it's like a character just describing themselves. And so like it could have been that John and Susan's argument rightfully should be a song, and like you feel it shouldn't be like done as like a comedy and a satire of like the modern relationship. I still don't have like kind of a strong opinion either way. It's an interesting take on it.
Yeah.
Because it is like just it takes place in the future, as John kind of talks about how this is how like a lot of modern relationships are, and it like let me show you how it's just like a pattern that repeats itself. Isn't that funny? It's like a kind of like a dark comedic take on how the same unhappy cycle happens to I guess a lot of relationships.
Yeah, like some of the lyrics are like, I'm not mad that you are mad, I'm just mad that you're mad because I didn't notice, or that I made you mad.
Yeah.
Like, it's all about like, it's not exactly your emotions I'm mad at or that I'm upset with. I'm upset that I allowed these emotions to happen because I wasn't paying attention enough. But I mean, that kind of centers on my gripes. I mean, Kevin, do you have any that you think the movie could have done better before we start going to what we loved about the movie?
I mean, like, there's it was shot during the pandemic, so I don't like I don't want to like bring down a lot of like technical aspects of it like too much. There are a lot of like logistical hurdles like the entire production had to go through.
Yeah.
I mean, like the visual effects aren't the greatest. There are I wish a lot of outdoor scenes and just like scenes I bet they wanted to do, but just had to film it in front of a green screen. It's just kind of funny that like a lot of the settings of every scene is on the rooftop where it's very obvious like the entire skyline is like just a blue screen, or it's indoors in the same apartment, indoors in an office. Very like just simple scenes, and I bet it was just because of the pandemic, but it could also be just like they didn't want to do anything like beyond that.
I mean, for me, I think the blue screen kind of added, for me at least, yeah, when they were on the rooftop, I actually liked the blue screen there because obviously, like, it gave me that '90s feel of like that like background night city thing, you know.
It just reminded you of Friends.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Like, I liked it for that reason. Like, it worked for me. Like, it was like a cheesy '90s-esque, like, you know, like field nightlife thing in the background.
Maybe we just admire different eras of the musical, because you say that you like that, whereas I think of La La Land and how the environment takes place outside. The picture is like beautiful in the background. They fucking shut down LA traffic to film.
Yeah.
And like the sunlight's real, everyone's really tired and everyone's really dancing.
But I loved La La Land too, though. Like, that was one I also really enjoyed. And
yeah, the
I
song,
loved
like What a Wonderful Night.
the
it's, like, it's
choreography was
gorgeous.
really good.
Especially also like the ending like dance sequence where it's just going through like a quick summary of the entire movie.
Yeah.
Right.
The backgrounds were like fantastic. A lot of it being practical, but like creatively using CGI and like green screens to expand what's already there.
Right.
But I mean, like with Tick Tick Boom, I thought shooting inside and stuff worked well because, like, again, I felt like a lot of these interior shots kind of helped exemplify his situation and, like, the way he was feeling because, I mean, there's literally a song about how shitty his living situation is and how just shitty living in New York is in general. And
the famous one line, like, "Of course I'm unhappy. I live in New York.
Yeah.
Everyone's unhappy.
No one's happy here." And I like, except for that one scene I talked about, I felt like in every other part of the movie, the songs definitely elevated the emotional aspect of almost any scene they were in. And the song, none of the songs felt superfluous. They felt like intended. They felt right. They weren't just like shoehorned into any random part of the movie. It felt whenever a song came on, it felt like it was the right time for a song to start. Because there have been some musicals and stuff, or just movies with song numbers in it that I've seen where it's like, it doesn't feel like that's the natural progression of the movie. It's just they go, oh, we should probably put a song here. Let's put one in.
Right.
There is kind of a formula to it too.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of which, how you said like everything was like kind of like indoors and enclosed.
Yeah.
I liked it for that because it felt like I was watching the musical within the musical, and like everything was almost felt stage like.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's what I took away from it. So that's why I liked it a lot.
Mike is shoving a red pill down my throat.
That was Mike's big brain play. Oh, good job. Good job. I'm proud of you, Mike. I'm proud.
My opinions turned around.
Oh man,
turned around 360.
Wait, seriously?
Which means I've gone back to my same opinion. The sets suck.
And the songs were great. I mean,
They woke me up. So
the I don't remember what the first number was.
wasn't it?
The first one was turning 30. 3090.
Yeah, 3090.
Okay, yeah, no, I love that song.
That one was awesome.
I also like.
Did you guys have an opinion on like the it was like a party song about Michael moving out? Yeah,
Bohemia. I love that song.
Okay, so that's the trailer song.
Yeah, I like it.
So it was the only one that like stuck in my head, and it's the only one that just kind of comes out. But like the music is very not catchy. It's just very detailed instead. Because I don't feel like any of them like kind of just stick in my head.
3090 was pretty catchy.
Yeah,
3090 was pretty catchy.
And I resent the fact that there's anything wrong with turning 30.
It's just a 30-year-old.
I am not 30.
Stop it, please.
I am a young, under 30. I'm a late 20-year-old. Like I'm in my late 20s.
Like so late that I'm not even 30.
Motherfucker.
I felt like the characters in the movie, at least the main ones, were fleshed out enough in the most part to where you actually felt like they were people. Granted, so Susan was developed slightly, but she was kind of more of just a catalyst for Jonathan Larson's like development. But his friend, I think, got the most development.
Michael?
Yeah.
Not this Michael. The other Michael.
The other Michael, yeah. And I felt like he got the most development because he had the most interaction with Larson. Like, because he was
They were best friends since like middle
and
elementary
roommates
school.
and everything like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
But like over time, Larson, here's my interpretation. I think he became jealous of his friend's success, but was also disappointed that that success didn't come from their shared dream, but came from something that he saw as like dirty and like doesn't give value to society, advertising. Because there's a scene where he goes into a focus group, and like this is when it really like shows that this is a person telling a story of their own life, because like he is the super mega genius, everyone's super impressed with him and stuff, but everyone else is just giving dumb ideas and just non sequitur like one lines.
very corporate, like
Yeah.
yes man, like answers.
Meanwhile, he's the visionary and stuff. So at first I'm like, it seems kind of arrogant to play off his intelligence that much. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, this is someone telling their own life story. So yeah, they're going to embellish it to make themselves look better. So
Yeah, I mean, like Susan at the beginning actually says that this is everything here is true except for the parts that John.
Yeah, exactly. That's told you at the very beginning. So I think that was kind of a good way
I don't
to
think he actually knocked down the diner front section of the diner.
Hey, he could have been strong as shit. You don't know that.
Hey, that was a bougie diner, all right.
It was if you're having a Sunday brunch rush, the only way to get through it is to force everyone to perform.
Sing and dance or you're not getting your food.
Sing and dance or get out.
Yeah, I thought the choreography was good. I mean, fairly simple, but it worked well with the space they were in.
You know what? There was one gripe.
Oh,
It was.
Mike has a gripe. Oh shit!
I just remembered. It's not even really a gripe. It was just funny but dumb. Was him rapping?
Oh, because it was doing a.
It was a small little rap.
There's like a weird like just video ad about the street that they were on.
Yeah.
And then like
it was
a
about the streets.
Yeah, there was a street rapper that started spitting some bars and doing a little ditty, and then it just smash cuts to Andrew Garfield saying the
Oh
same
yeah,
lyric.
that's right.
And just because like
So
he's recounting it to the audience.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's like played up for laughs, and it's
Yeah.
very funny, good fun all around.
Yeah.
An awkward white boy rapping.
Yeah.
The best rapping.
High tiered, and then it's funny because then you see the same guy, then also applying for a musical.
Oh yeah, what was he like? I think it was the same.
He was applying for the
yeah, it was a
character
rap.
he rapped as.
No, I think wasn't it that he was trying to get into Cats or something?
No, he was trying to.
He was trying to get into Cats.
Was
Yeah.
it Cats?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so funny. I
Yeah,
didn't.
no,
I
he
didn't,
was
I didn't make that connection.
trying to play Deuteronomy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I mean, granted, like as
Any comments on Andrew Garfield singing, because this is the first time he's ever like done anything musical
he
wise?
had a fantastic
He did a
voice.
good job.
And I was actually at first, before I looked it up, I'm like, did he just like lip sync and they had someone else sing for him? And then I looked it up and nope, Lin-Manuel Miranda hired a
Oh yeah, we never mentioned that this is Lin-Manuel's like directorial debut.
yeah, and he plays a cook at the diner for a brief scene, but
You know it.
didn't he direct In the Heights?
No, that wasn't him.
That wasn't him.
No.
It was just his play.
I still need to see that
Okay.
movie too, but
It's not
Ritter says
good.
it's bad. But
And-
I still want to see it.
You'll love it.
I'm sure I'll love it.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna pop off for a second.
Some bangers.
Here's the difference between a good and bad musical.
Here it goes.
Okay, so a good musical uses songs to tell or elevate a story, but there is a coherent story that goes through. You have characters that are experiencing some form of hardship, but they are getting over it in their own way, or are experiencing it and growing from it. There is a character arc. There is basic storytelling. In the Heights, it is just random
Blah,
people
blah,
in New
blah.
York singing.
Blah, blah.
There's no plot. It's just people wanting to be rich. And then they're like, this is why I want to be rich. Okay. But what's the... Fuck off. No, fuck you.
Man, why does it sound like such a first world problem coming from the white guy?
Motherfucker. Fine, whatever. Anyways,
It comes from love. It comes from love.
I'll go back to Tick Tick Boom then, you bitch. But no, yeah, Lin-Manuel Miranda actually hired a speech therapist and a teacher to work with Andrew Garfield, because Andrew Garfield took the job and apparently he's like, I don't know if I can sing. I just really wanted
That's the
this.
best.
I just really wanted this role, and Lin-Manuel was like, we'll figure it out, babe. We'll figure it out. And no, he's got a good singing voice.
That's not what it sounds like.
No, it's not. But he's got a good singing voice. I felt like
in darling.
and I felt like he's just Andrew Garfield is a good performer if you put him in the right role.
Did you ever see anything about the movie that he was in? What was it?
Silence.
No.
Spider-Man.
It was literally last year. It's mainstream.
No.
No.
Okay, so mainstream came out last year, and it's him as a YouTuber, kind of playing the same character, because he's like, these people are just getting on. These influencers aren't real, and he's like a satirical, like he's being an influencer ironically.
Oh.
It's very, it's kind of like a hard watch. But yeah, he's.
Oh, this looks bad.
Yeah, but he's like a YouTuber, vlogger, does like stunts and whatever just to get like views. He gets like a show, gets famous. I think one of the Paul brothers are in it. There's a bunch of just like
Jake Paul is in it.
yeah, Jake Paul's in it, and
Which makes me laugh because it almost looks like Andrew Garfield is supposed to play a parody of one of the
there's like
Pauls.
there's just like I don't know any of those YouTubers, but I'm assuming that they're real YouTubers. Johnny Knoxville is in it.
Of course he is.
Yeah, no, it's very funny. But yeah, it's basically the same character, who is like a little bit pretentious, who wants to take down the system. You guys are all, the phones and your screens are all poison, and you guys need to wake up, sheeple. Don't.
I'm the answer.
Don't worship these internet false gods. And he's like using his like platform to like do that, and there's like a lot of like hypocrisy because the other YouTubers are like, aren't you doing the same thing? And then there's a fight and whatever.
He's like, no, it's different.
And then his next film, Eyes of Tammy Faye, where he plays an Evangelion. Oh my God, Evangelion has ruined my
Evangelist?
I said one comment about Evangelion once in like earlier today, and now it's been seeded into his brain.
But as an evangelist, who's
When Third
doing the
Impact
same
happened.
who's talking about
And
the
they
third
all-
impact.
And they all turned into Fanta.
And God said, "Welcome to your instrument project."
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and he's like playing kind of like the same characters. Wake up, people, worship me, give me money, etc. What was it? What was that talking about?
You're talking
Tick,
about
tick, boom.
Tick, tick, boom.
Yeah, but why was it?
His performance and how
Yeah, no,
I said
that's-
he is a good performer depending on the movie he's in.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was kind. It just reminds me of like those the two previous movies that he was in. It's
that
just
makes
like
sense.
he's kind of like this playing the same character. I think it's also good to kind of like branch out beyond Spider-Man, because I think everyone just thinks of him as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I never thought of him as
I'd-
Spider-Man. Not that I don't like him. It's
I'd
just
like to. Yeah, no, I'm down to like cheer him
he was
on.
just too cool to be Spider-Man.
He can try it. He's like under the trap that Jennifer Lawrence and Shailene Woodley are in, and
I was in one movie, now I have to be in the rest of
I
them.
was in a young adult movie. Now everyone thinks of me as Katniss Everdeen,
And that's all they'll see me as.
what's Shailene Woodley's character name? In
No one
Divergent?
gives a fuck.
I don't remember.
The Divergent movies are hot shit.
Hey, the first one was kind of cool.
No, it wasn't. It was bad.
I don't remember.
I like
too
the
well,
first Maze Runner, and then
I've never seen
and
Maze
then
Runner.
it stopped being about maze running.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I applaud him. I cheer him on, support him.
Yeah.
Woo!
I look forward to future things he might do, non-Spider-Man related.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Because he's very good in the Martin Scorsese Silence movie.
Oh, that 3-hour movie? Yeah. That 5-hour movie?
It's very good though.
That's a 17-hour movie?
Him and Adam Driver are just
Yeah, Adam Driver.
great.
Yeah, Adam Driver could be in anything.
Dude, he's so good.
Who's Adam Driver?
Kylo Ren.
Who's Kylo Ren?
Yeah.
Marriage. That was a movie called right?
Divorce.
No, I still haven't watched
Marriage Story,
I
yeah.
still haven't
Marriage
watched episode 8 of Star Wars.
You don't need to.
Really?
I went from 7 to 9, and when 8 was out,
What the
I was
fuck?
super busy.
Whoa, what the...
Anyways, if you're a fan of Lin-Manuel and musicals in general, there's a lot of just kind of Easter eggs. A lot of other like Vanessa Hudgens is in it. Plays a prominent character. She's played in Rent. She's played in The Heights.
High School Musical.
Yeah, no. Other than that, Philippa Sue, who's well known in Hamilton, is in it, and I think she does like the same pose as she does in Hamilton. There's like just a bunch of like just of some of your favorites Broadway actors and actresses like kind of are here helping Lin-Manuel Miranda out, playing like background characters and extras.
But I mean, let's be honest. If they've done anything in Broadway, like Lin-Manuel just has to press the button and they say yes.
That's like such an interesting aspect of just like the Broadway crew. Outside of high school, the theater kid still exists. The theater kid clique still exists.
It never goes away.
After you become a part of the theater kids clique in high school, and then when you grow up, you formally join the worldwide theater kid clique,
Also known as the Screen Actors Guild. And then you give weird speeches at Oscars and award parties.
Yeah.
Who are you referring to?
I don't know.
Many celebrities. Mostly when fucking Joaquin Phoenix gave a really weird speech about milk and cows and being vegan.
But he's such a genius. Why does he have to be weird? Why can't you be like really good in movies and then not be weird in real life?
Wait, which one's
Please.
Joaquin Phoenix? I think I got the wrong name
Joker.
first.
I guess he's Joker. I think of him as like
I have to pick the most recent thing and the most popular thing.
he's the guy that jacked off himself in Her.
Yeah?
The most appealing Scarlett Johansson has ever been.
Whoa!
I enjoy her voice in that movie.
But no. Kevin only likes 2D. He doesn't need any 3D.
It was better because it was like 1D.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about now. Sorry, I was thinking about the Joker from Suicide Squad.
No!
But you're talking about the Joker movie.
The one that won an Oscar.
Yeah. Okay, I'm back on track.
The one that a bunch of piss babies were mad didn't win Best Picture.
It was good though. That one was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That man carried that movie on his back.
They're the reason why DC movies can continue to exist.
Yeah.
And I guess we can blame for the Snyder Cut. Because he maintained the amount of interest in the DC property, that everyone's like, Snyder Cut.
Because God damn it, I promise there's a good version of this movie somewhere. But yeah, final thoughts or just general like last statements about Tick Tick Boom. I would recommend, if you tolerate and are a fan of musicals in general, definitely give it a watch. I mean, if you've already got a Netflix subscription, it's not going to cost you anything besides time. It's worth a watch. The songs are good. The storytelling's good. It kind of gives you a different perspective on this playwright.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend, unless musicals aren't your thing. But it's also just a really interesting story. And I just like stories in general. But so, like, that helps.
Thank you, Mike.
Listen, I like documentaries and biographies, alright?
You didn't even know if it was a biography.
But when
until the very end.
when I did it, elevated it, alright?
Like, already
let me
liked
just
it,
enjoy
and then
it.
biography, he's just like, oh shit, dog, we're here,
Yeah,
we're in
remember
it.
how big my mind was blown when I was like, oh, it's actually an autobiography?
Jesus Christ.
You're so mad.
I'm not mad, I'm just like, Jesus. What about you, Kev?
So Bradley Whitford played Stephen Sondheim in the movie like most of the time, except for the one time where they couldn't get Bradley Whitford and instead took the actual phone recording of Sondheim when he left his voicemail to.
So that's
John
actually Stephen Sondheim's voice.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, I did forget about this part. There was one part I did like where Larson kind of does like a short performance for some people to critique, and like one of the guys is like, it was just the songs were not poppy enough. They didn't really do anything, and Stephen Sondheim's like, your songs were actually very on point. They were.
He was like, "This is the most original thing I've ever heard."
That's what I was trying to say. But the thing is, you need to work on this. Actually, I thought that first song was the best one, and it really worked well. It was succinct. It elevated. He's like, yeah, see, I was... And then it cuts to a different part where, like, Stephen Sondheim is talking to just him directly, not with like, any other audience there. And he's like, hey, you should probably do a song for the girl in the second act. Elizabeth, yeah. You should do a song for her because it's a turning point in the story. It's important, and I think giving her that voice would be worthwhile. And then the guy is still somehow sitting there, and it just turns to him, and he's like, you see? You said it just before I was about to, and it's just like, oh my fucking god.
Yeah, that was Richard Kind.
I
thought that was a bit.
Yeah.
That bit was funny.
He's a fun actor because he's. I like him in Chef.
Yeah. And I mean, and especially within work, like creative spaces, there are so many people like that like they give their opinion, but if someone else gives like a counter opinion, they're like, no, I agree with you, but because they can't, they don't want to stand out from the crowd. They want to feel like they're right. I don't know. That part made me laugh.
It's all about your star power at that point. You go with the guy with the most star power.
Yeah. But then at the same time, in doing so, makes you just less creative.
It just so it's like, come on.
Makes you a fucking chump! But, okay. Kevin, last thoughts.
My final thoughts before I die?
Yes.
It would probably be something around...
Bury me with my Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Bury me in an Egyptian tomb and follow these instructions to resurrect me. I'll never die.
Please leave a recording of Scarlett Johansson in my coffin saying, it's okay, babe.
Just whispering sweet nothings, telling me it's gonna be alright and that I didn't do anything wrong.
Come on, Kevin. What do you...
Oh, that was my final thoughts.
Oh, that's it?
That was
Okay.
a little final thoughts right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna die now.
Okay.
Oh, well, there's Kevin.
Oh, okay. Bye.
But, no, honestly, watch the movie. It's worth a watch. Although I don't agree with the headline of, is it the inception of musicals? It's still very good.
I gotta give Netflix its due. It is really starting to dish out more and more gems now. Hey, I think it is. It's definitely... There's definitely a lot more stuff coming out.
I feel like this is more of a diamond in the rough situation. Because I think Netflix just kind of shotguns whatever it can at people. And eventually one of them will hit the bullseye.
I feel like there's more than been one as of like this last year, though. You know, like
Army of the Dead.
I mean,
Army of Thieves?
No,
Army of
like-
the Thieves is
like-
not a theater release.
like Arcana or Arcane. My bad. There's
Sure. Yeah. I guess their TV is pretty good.
I like how they added the Witcher stuff. They finished off Castlevania. They
We are talking about movies, though.
I'm just saying Netflix in general.
But
yeah, Tiger King Part 2.
yeah, that no one wanted and no one needed.
But we got it. I haven't seen it, but I want to kind of.
But there's more information.
Sure, but no, I mean,
Yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with it.
This is an interesting new relationship that Netflix is having with, I guess just so that they could have more nominations in the Oscars. And I guess it's kind of like some sort of agreement that Netflix is now doing a lot of...
simultaneous.
not even simultaneous. They go out in theaters a week earlier.
Mm.
Yeah, Tick Tick Boom came out
Yeah, because
and Red Notice came out like earlier.
They have to, right, in order for them to be nominated?
yeah, because there's some rule that states it has to have a theatrical release for a certain amount of time in order to be considered.
Right.
Yeah, and I so far of all of the theatrical release Netflix movies, because there's a bunch of shit that Netflix will just make. It's I think like they know when there's something that actually was made with effort that they'll like publicly put out to the theaters and shit. I don't know. We haven't seen Red Notice yet, but
No, we'll see.
We'll find out.
We'll try to watch it, but
yeah.
you know, with that was Tick Tick Boom. Join us next week for another episode. Again, you can find us on Twitter at Buns Cinema. We also have a Patreon at Cinema Buns. And you can also find our podcast on every major podcasting platform. With that, I'm Ritter.
I'm Mike.
We'll see you next time.
Some are pretty good, but we'll just suck ass. 1, 2, 3.